Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Paul's Call. Got a cool guest here, Omarh. Known him for years. He came from the practice company like we did. Great guy. Always the fashion. He's always fitted and ready to go. He never lets me borrow any of his chains though. Be nice, in case I want to go out, people will look at me too, you know what I mean? But welcome, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Thank you for having me on the show, bro. Really humbled and appreciative of being here, bro.
Well, I mean, you paid me 10 grand, bro. It's kind of easy to put you on, my guy,
We talked about
send me some money, I'll throw you up on every show, man.
Marketing.
So we're starting with your background, man. What got you into insurance? Where'd you come from? Like, how did it all happen for you?
My background, well, name's Omarh Torio. Don't know who's going to be watching this, so I just want to start from the top. Born and raised in California. Grew up in the Bay Area. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, dude, sales has always just been something, as far back as I can remember, I've been like making deals, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, trading toys, or if I wanted something, I just had to get it, I'm a first generation American, so very humble beginnings. Like, we didn't really have much growing up. Some of my earliest memories was like camping inside because the lights got cut off. So I got candles, and it's like, so that's right. Really, really humble beginnings, man. And paying to buy food with money that didn't look like regular money, like that's kind of where I came from. That's where I grew up. So I think coming up in that environment really shaped me and molded me to who I am today.
Right. What was your first sales job? Official sales job.
My first official sales job. So I had a job at Wells Fargo, and people used to come up all the time, and they would just hit us with quotas about credit cards. And so I would talk to people at the desk, and I could see the pre-qual, so I just got to like run it by them. And one day I did like 10, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And then it was addicting, right? So like after you hit the quota, you hit the numbers, and then what comes with that is everybody's like, oh dang, Omarh could do a lot of credit cards. Like, oh, how do you do this? And so that was my intro to like real legitimate sales. And it's a rush. It never gets old. You're always chasing. And but at the end of the day, like, the clients were happy. They were walking around with 10 grand on a credit card, and like lines of credit they didn't know they were qualified for. So
right.
Me figuring that out for them, like it got me to, really fall in love with sales.
It's crazy how educating people on finance, right? And when we're not taught this in schools, we're not taught a lot of this stuff, this information, and there's a lot of disinformation out there too, right? So very quickly when you were young, you kind of figured that out, it sounds like, in that you were applying what you were learning to educate others. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, man. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
And I've always been competitive. Like, there was somebody else who was good, and I wanted to be better. So just naturally, like, and we were cool too. So it was just like, the smack talk that goes on between, sales guys and whatnot. So yeah, that's really another driving factor with sales in general.
We talked quite a bit about your backstory, and one of the things is that you've been really heavy about, really most proud about, when it comes to yourself, is the growth, like from where you started, made some mistakes, but learned from those, overcame them, and grew. If you are open to talking about it, kind of give us an idea of what those things that you went through.
Yeah, man. So just like anybody else who's young and dumb, I made some mistakes when I was younger. Got in trouble, but I got into life insurance because of my boy Harold. I used to work at a bank. He used to come in, cash his checks. I'm like, what do you do, bro? Like, 3,000 check, 4,000. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And so that was just always in the back of my mind. I didn't have the courage to leave my job because I was comfy, right? I'm making sales. Right. I got some clout, so I didn't want to leave. Long story short, I did what I had to do. Got licensed up, got into the business. So from 2009 to 2011. Killing it, right? I'm 22 years old, never made money like that before. I was making a pretty good living for myself, and things were sweet, bro. Like, I remember I bought a Benz. I'm like 22 years old. All my friends were still in school and stuff. So I'm like, oh damn, I'm that guy, right? Yeah. 2011 hits, bro, and the dumb stuff that I was talking about caught up to me. Long story short, I lost my license, right, in 2011, just because of that, not because of anything in insurance. And man, I was in the wilderness, bro, from like 2011 to 2020, just trying to figure out my life, bro. So, I mean, you can figure what comes up with that. I'm on a high, brand new Benz, right? And I'm just like lost everything. Right. And I'm like, it was crazy times for me, bro.
Yeah. So what would you say that for you, the overall lesson or what you got from that when now you're back with your license and you're working?
The overall lesson, man, is you're not defined by your mistakes. Like I thought that was it. Like I literally thought, damn, nobody's gonna hire me. I can't even get a job at Best Buy if I wanted to. You know, like who's gonna hire me?
Right. One of the things we talked about before is you were talking about doing right by the client and what that brings back to you. And it was kind of, you got those lessons from this challenge that you overcame in your life. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, man. Doing right by the client is really important. I feel like I forget who says it. I think it was like Zig Ziglar. But if you help enough people, this is like not the quote, but it's basically if you help enough people, you'll help yourself. You know, get what you want, right? So doing right by the client is always going to be, you know, the best way to serve, because you never have to look over your shoulder. I can sleep good at night. I'm doing the right thing for my client. I'm not putting them in bad positions. Like I know what it's like to lose everything for doing stupid stuff. And I'm just like, you know, at this point in my life, I just want to put out the good energy. I just want to put out the good karma. And like,
so, based off, these challenges that you've overcome, how has it impacted your family since 2020 when you got your license back?
oh, dude, it's been, so my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she stuck by me and she could have just dipped because I had nothing, literally. It was embarrassing. Like at the end of the day, you know, I was the one in my little circle who was doing something, you know, not to say they weren't doing anything. They were just in another stage of life. They're in school, they're doing their thing, right? And as far as monetary, I was doing okay. But then I lose that and then I don't go to school. So now I'm just like, damn, that was my identity, right?
Right.
And so now I don't have that. And I'm like, damn, who the hell am I? What is going on? Where am I going to go in my life right at this point? And so, yeah, man, she stuck by me. We didn't have kids back then, but she stuck by me. She stuck by me through all of that. And at the end of the day, you know, she's my wife now. We have kids now, but I couldn't imagine going through something like that with kids.
Yeah.
You know, we would have gone through it, you know, like at this point, I feel like I've gotten enough resilience that if I did go through it or have to go through something like that, we're gonna get through it. But yeah, she stuck by my side, man. My family was disappointed, just a lot of stuff. So I feel like I had to come back from that and prove myself to me and to, you know, my family that, yeah, that was just some stupid stuff, stupid mistakes.
What would be your overall message for anybody that's either watching or going to watch when it hits YouTube, for those that maybe might be skipping steps in insurance? Because we do know people that have done this in the past, right? That could get themselves in trouble or not follow the TCPA rules or things of that nature with insurance that could essentially get their license yanked. What would be your overall message to them, you know, about not taking shortcuts?
Just do right. You know, just everybody that you help, everybody that you serve is somebody's grandma, somebody's mom, somebody's dad. So, you know, like you wouldn't do that to your family at the end of the day. So don't do it to anybody else, right? It's going to come back. If you do something stupid now, it's going to come back. Like what's done in the dark comes out in the light at some point, right? And
every time,
if you
right?
get away with it, how could you got to sleep. You have to sleep at night. And you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and know that you got some integrity. Like I sleep like a baby at night. Actually, no, I don't sleep at night because I have a baby. But when I do sleep, it's good. Because I'm not doing nothing crazy. Like
Well, let's segue now. So you also did real estate, and I think you still do a little bit, right? How has real estate impacted your sales ability?
So, man, real estate is a lot of the things and the lessons that I learned in insurance and in my failure really translated well in real estate. You know, just at the end of the day, there's lessons that remain true in any industry. Like if you work hard, you got good work ethic, you work hard, study your craft, like you'll be good. Like you'll make leaps and bounds in whatever industry, whatever it is you decided to choose and do. So yeah, I got into real estate, man, and I say this humbly, but like the beginning was just not knowing what you don't know, right? And just being surrounded, finding a mentor, somebody who's messed up, somebody who knows what they're doing, that I just latched onto, saw what they did, ran with it, right? And so yeah, no, real estate was good, man. Like in my first couple of years, I did like maybe 22, 25 houses. I got my license in the beginning of the pandemic in February, right? So I'm like, okay, let's go. Got my license ready to go. And then what happens in March 2020?
Yeah, COVID.
Done. So I'm like, damn, what the heck is like, come on. I'm just like, come on, God, what's going on? Like, I'm trying to.
He was leading you down a different path.
Yeah, man. But come April, May, the market went crazy. We're
Yeah.
talking like rates went from like 7 to, I saw a loan for like 2%. Crazy.
Mm.
And so there was a lot of buyers coming in the market. So I was busy. I was out there. I was showing houses. I'd be at home, and then next thing you know, I'm in Brentwood, like an hour away, showing a house. Like, it was busy, man. It's a different beast. It's a different animal. Like, there's a lot of people. I forgot the success and the failure rate of real estate, but it's very high failure rate.
The biggest question everybody's going to ask, why, is if you were doing Bay Area real estate, why transition to life insurance?
It's a good question. I came to a point for me where it was not just about the money. My biggest month in real estate was, I think I closed on like 3 houses. I think I got paid like 45 grand that month, but I just literally legit was not happy. Like, I was never home. At this point, I have kids, 2. I was never home. Weekends, what's a weekend? Like, that's when people want to go see houses.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It never stops. If I got 2 contracts going, we're doing contracts until 11 o'clock. You know, if I got to do a comp to make an offer, we're up until 12. Like, it's just nonstop. And then it got to the point where I'm just like, this isn't really fitting my lifestyle. So
Right.
HD came to me with an opportunity because he knows what's up. He knows I did pretty well in insurance, and, you know, that's like my brother, man. So whenever he got something good going on, he'll let me know about it. But I was like, virtual? What do you mean virtual? Who's buying insurance without you being in the house? Because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
That wasn't even in my wheelhouse. I was like, what are you talking about? They're going to give me, you know, I'm going to be able to help a family over the phone and not be there? That's weird, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I did the whole contracting thing, you know, because I did get my license actually shortly after in 2020, and got contracted up. I messed around with it a little bit. Back then to what we have now was crazy. It's like, this is like next level. Back then it was like, I don't know what sports team I could reference, but it wasn't.
Well, back then we were trying to get them on Zoom, teaching people how to get on Zoom to talk to us. Remember? And so,
exactly.
you know, then we went to telesales completely, and again, we've definitely changed the way we've done business quite a bit even since then.
Yeah. No,
Isaiah Academy reminded me we were the very first team in FFL to do virtual sales, right? You know, telesales. Like, we brought it to the game, right? So, yeah, man. So it's been pretty phenomenal. I think it's impacted everybody here that's in the meeting now. Like, they're all working from home. They don't have to give up their weekends. They get to spend time with their family. I got to see my daughter's first footsteps out of 4 kids. That's the only one I got to see because I was here, and I even got it recorded. It was freaking amazing, right?
That's so cool.
So, yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Well, I want to kind of segue into, you know, the art of the sale in the way, right? Wanted to kind of talk to you about basically what components does every script need in sales, right? So kind of thinking about the script that you guys currently run, right? Take us through the script and kind of what's the purpose of each part.
So it's real simple. It's just like, hey, you know, Paul, this is Omarh calling you regarding that mortgage protection appointment that I was the one texting you. Just want to make sure that we got all the information correct here. So no pause, right? Right there. I'm going right into, looks like the original loan amount was $550,000, but I'm assuming you've paid that down. What's the current balance? And then, you know,
150,000.
150,000. Okay, perfect. And then I also have the address as 555 Main Street. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. And if you can, Paul, can you confirm your date of birth for me?
Yep. 3/20/79.
3/20/79. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's the same thing that I have here in my system. So just that little opener, right? It's just, we're figuring out, you know, we know their loan amount. We've identified the address. They've given me the date of birth. So that's like the credibility, right? Just letting them know what this is about, right? Or not letting them know what this is about, but kind of just letting them know that I have some information based on something that they filled out, pretty much. So the next
other thing I noticed too is you're taking control of the conversation right away by asking verifying questions, right? I think that's important too. So you're building credibility by you having some information that you're verifying with them. Does that sound right?
That sounds right. And you're doing it quick, to the point, and really, I'm very monotone on my calls. Like, I'm not too high, I'm not too low. I don't want to set anything off subconsciously where I'm just like, a lot of people in sales are just like, hey, Paul. That's like, whoa, slow down, buddy. Who are you? What are you calling me about? So I'm just like, hey, what's up, Paul? You know, it's like, you know, and then I also, I notice a lot of agents, they go too fast. Slow it down, right? Because your cadence of how you say it makes all the difference. Your intonation of how you say it makes all the difference, right? the tone of your voice, the speed of your words. Like when you slow it down, you almost force them to kind of like lean in, like, what is this dude talking about, right? Versus just like, "Bleh," and then they're not following nothing. There's no power behind that, right? So the next step is pretty much setting the table. Like, I don't know you. This client doesn't know who we are. They know they filled out some form. That's why they're on the call, but they're more comfortable to proceed when they know what's going to happen, right? I'm telling them what's going to happen. We're mapping out the call, so there's no confusion. They know at the very end what's going to happen. So basically, I'm just like, hey, Paul. Again, I'm the underwriter that was assigned to your case. Basically, it's just my job to see if you can qualify for the program. Now, we used to serve our clients face to face, but we do everything virtually now. These plans are all state regulated, so there's no physical exam or any blood work done. They just make me go over a health questionnaire with you, so it's really quick and easy. But before I get too far into it, I just want to make sure that you receive my underwriter page. So that part right there is the credibility, right? It's now I'm giving them some of my information. Now they can click on that link. They can see who I am. They see my family. They see my licenses. So little by little, we're kind of lowering down that resistance, right? And one thing that's very important throughout the script is you always want to get their buy-in for whatever you're telling them or asking them to do, or actually, I'm always asking, did you get that? Yes. Did you click that link? All right, cool, perfect. Or whatever. Like, does that make sense? Like, that's keeping them engaged, right? So they're not going to tune out on me because they know I'm asking these questions, right? So now that I'm verified, we're good to go, right? Mm-hmm. So that whole part, just that the opener and then that part, is a lot of that is credibility. The next part is pretty much like I was telling you, setting the table. So it goes like this. Basically, the way that this works, there's a lot of companies out there that do mortgage protection. I'm one of the medical field underwriters. I work with most of the carriers in the state of California. We just handle the initial underwriting and help you to submit the application. It's basically just my job to figure out which company and plan are going to be best for you in your situation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So my job's simple. I'm going to ask you some questions, some health questions, just to see what you're pre-qualified for. And from there, I'll go over some finance questions with you just to evaluate your need for coverage. And then we'll go over all the options that fit within your budget. And last thing we'll do is help you to submit the application to request coverage from the carrier. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Most important thing with these is that it fits within your budget. So not just the budget for today, but the budget for the months and the years to come. Wouldn't want you to have a plan like this for the next 6 months or so and have to cancel it because life happens, you get a flat tire or whatever the case is to where you couldn't afford the policy anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't do anybody any good. Just a waste of time and money. So we'll definitely, keep all that in mind. Now, when it comes to the approval process, I'm not the one that does the approval. If I could, I would approve everyone. But that's actually going to fall on the insurance carrier for approval. So I just do the initial underwriting. But once we send in the application for coverage, they usually get back to us in like 1 to 5 days with their decision. And if you're approved, Paul, you're going to receive your policy in the mail in the next 2 weeks. If you're declined for whatever reason, they'll let me know and we'll just switch over to another company that would approve you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So again, table is set. They know where they're here. They know what they're going to get out of it.
They know where we're going.
They know where we're going, right? Now, the golden question. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
The golden question. So, Paul, once we find a policy that fits the budget and it does accomplish what you need, is there any reason why you would not want the application sent in to see if we could be approved?
Yep. That's great.
Right. So, yeah, with the golden question, we're just pretty much asking if it all makes sense, are you going to put in an application? And whether they say yes or no, it's just, yeah, if we can't find something for you that fits the needs or budget, no big deal. Just want to make sure we could do something if it could truly help you. By that point, I'm verified. They've looked at my stuff. They know what's going on. And they tell me either yes or no. If it makes sense, they're going to go for it. Walls are down. Now, if they're with me still, somebody's getting helped.
Yep.
Right?
So I'm going to jump around on you a little bit here. I want to, we got pretty much a lot of the opening of the script that we run. Don't want to give away for too much to the people that might view this on YouTube, so they can, if they want to know more, come join the team, right?
Right.
But there's some things that every agent in every industry kind of comes to, the head with, like some objections, right? One of them being banking, right? Without giving away too much, right? What's some of the things that you've used in the past, maybe, to overcome banking objections? Was it more about how you set the table in the beginning? What is it that can keep people from having that issue in the future?
It's a really good question. So a lot of it has to do with how you are before you ask for the account, right? But also on the flip side of that, well, let me elaborate on that. If you're kind of like skittish and nervous, and like you're not really well put together in the script, it's kind of all over the place. You're doing too much
Yeah.
side talk. You're going off
Yeah.
script, on script, off. It could mess you up later when you do go for it, right? The other thing too is we're professionals. Like, this is something that we need in order to make this happen for you, right?
Right.
But you could still have the best presentation in your life and get to that point, and they could just be somebody who's like, you know what, nothing against you, Paul. I just don't get my stuff out over the phone. It happened to me the other day. There was like a bunch of agents watching, and I'm like, okay, because I thought we were good. I thought she knew what was up. She picked the plan.
Yep.
She told me the weather. And now North Carolina, that's my open.
Yeah.
This whole how's the weather out there? I got a 20-minute conversation off how's the weather, right?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious. But she said, oh, I just don't give out my account number like that. I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you this. And I'm pretty straightforward. Obviously, there's the basic rebuttal, right? Well, we need this for, verification, because of the Patriot Act. It's one way that we can verify. Also want to make sure that if you're, because I'll tell you, I say it 1,000 times, but I still, to this day, I just read it. But yeah, basically it's money laundering to kind of just break it down. Money laundering, we just need it for that. Patriot Act, just cross-referencing. And then also, we want to make sure that the person opening the policy for you, nobody's doing it without your consent. So that's like the basic, right? But like next level is just being honest and forward. Like, hey, Paul, and I understand you don't want to give it to me, right? Whenever I get a rebuttal, I always agree. I'm not like clashing with them. Like, I'm not
Right.
away from what they're feeling, right? So no, I agree, Paul. No, let me tell you this though, Paul. The number that you really want to be careful giving out would be your social, because that's something that you really want to verify and protect before you give that out. And they'd be like, yeah, I just already gave it to you, because usually that part of the application is needed, and they usually they
They're
follow
more
suit.
open with that for some
They're
reason.
more open with that for some reason. So I'll tell her straight up, like, that's the number that you should have been more careful with. But again, you're in good hands right now. My system is encrypted. We're good. Your info safe. But your checking account number, on the other hand, that is made for you to give out. I was like, Paul, I'd be like, Paul, have you ever written a check before? Yeah, I've written a check. Okay. How many people do you think hold on to that check to process? How many hands do you think go through that check, right? It's like,
Right.
probably quite a few. Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. I can't go to a store, or somebody can't go into a store and be like, let me get this 50-inch TV. Here's a check number. Like, nobody can do anything with that. You can't go online.
Right.
You can't do nothing, right?
Right.
And so I just tell them, like, at the end of the day, that's the number that you should be the most secure giving out, because there's nothing that anybody can do with it, right? Now, mind you, if you give it to me and you're approved, you'll get drafted, but that's what we're here for, right? We want to make sure that that initial draft comes out, because now the company is it's bonding. Like, if you were to pass away during your 30-day free look period, you've made a payment, the policy is issued, company has to pay out, right?
Exactly.
And so I tell them, like, anything I put into my system, it's safe. I can assure you that. And then they'll even joke, like, I'm a real person. I'll be like, you can FaceTime me right now if you want. I'll hold up my license. I'll show you the people that are in my link. My little kid is here. He's here. I can have him say hi.
Yeah.
And then they start laughing, because then they
Yeah.
feel silly, like, oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. No, that makes sense. Let's go. Boom. That's it. It's just logic, right? It's just agreeing with them, letting them know that social is the one you want to be careful with, and then just explaining to them how the check-in number works, because they're just afraid, right, at some point. But they've already given me the social. They want it, and it just makes sense the way when you explain it like that, and usually they follow suit.
I think that's right on. Just from my own experience, man, I've seen a lot of people rewrite scripts a ton just because of the banking. And what I've always found, I never have problems with the banking. And I think it's all because of, the opening, building the confidence in the beginning and making it just another thing that is part of the process and being confident about it.
Yeah.
I think some people spend too much time on re-scripting scripts and doing all this kind of stuff, that when it just, a lot of it boils down to confidence. And the only way to get confidence is through preparation. You got to practice.
Exactly.
It's like, if you want to be good at basketball, you gotta put the hours in, right? You gotta put the time in, you gotta practice. One of the other things I think is super important is cementing a sale, right? So that later you don't get a charge back. Is that process start from you from the beginning of your presentation and all the way through, or is it something that you say at the end? What is it for you?
So for me, cementing the sale happens at the end. Well, a lot of it too is like, I mean, a lot of it, I guess, too, up until the point when I'm pitching and I ask which one makes sense for them, it's really like just straight business, right? I'm really monotone, not really joking sometimes, but I don't really go too far off script. It's when we get locked in on something that they want and we're in the application is when I kind of just be regular, right? I'm just myself, I'm joking with them, and we're really just building some rapport. Like, we don't have the face-to-face like before, right? It's different. So that's the part of the script where you really could just be you. But obviously, you know, you want to get the information and keep focused on that. But you know, that's when I'm kind of joking around and let them know more about me, finding out more about, and I'm just like genuinely curious. I don't have like a list of questions I ask. I'm just talking, right?
Right.
And that's when I'm cementing, because they're getting to know who I am. I'm getting to know who they am, because better believe I'm going to talk to them again, because they are my client. And I have a responsibility to follow up with them, make sure they know what they have.
Amen. Absolutely. I'm excited about what you said, man, about staying in contact with your client. Like, that's what we're here for, is our clients, right? We're here to help them. Like, you're the first person to say that, I think, in all of our interviews. So, man, big up to you.
It's true though, man, because like, I used to be a peddler, like straight up. I'll sell something and you'll never hear from me again, right? That is the old me. At the end of the day, we're advisors. We have a book of business. We have clients that we have responsibility to. And it's just better overall for everyone. Like, people's lives changes. These people may not have a kid now, but if I follow up a year later, they may have two. Right. You know, they may have a friend, and you become that guy. Like, you become that their go-to, their, you know, professional when it comes to that. So you do that enough, you're going to someday never have to rely on a lead again. You're going to wake up, look at your book of business. You would have done enough work in the past that's going to continue to feed you for a lifetime. Right?
Absolutely. And help the client with their needs, because insurance needs can always change.
Exactly.
All right, we got a few questions in here. I'm going to fire them off to you. Let's see if you could do like a, you know, ready golf, right? You got to be quick with some answers. Are you ready? It's a big test, Omar. I don't know if you're this good. Let's see. All right. All right. I need to check with my mortgage company.
You need to check with your mortgage company.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Paul. One thing that I do want to just make sure you're aware of is a lot of times with the mortgage company, and it's easy to get it confused, but the mortgage company does have what's called PMI in most cases. PMI is private mortgage insurance. Very easy to get confused with mortgage insurance or mortgage protection, which is what we're talking about today. That protects the lender in the event you default, right? Not in the event of a death or disability. It doesn't protect your family. So what we're speaking of today is going to protect this asset. So when you pass away, your family would basically not have to worry about what's going to happen to the home, right? So what we're talking about protects you and your family. PMI is going to protect the lender. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So my job is just to give you the information. Whatever you do with it, it's up to you. But at least you'll know where you stand. So I have the address. That's 555-555. Yeah, that's it.
Ooh.
Right.
All right. Let's see here. I don't know my budget and unsure I could pay for it.
Yeah, no worries, Paul. Well, like I said earlier, my job is just to, number one, just figure out if you're qualified through health, but more importantly, just to make sure this is affordable for you, make sure this is still relevant to your situation. So we'll go over some of those health questions, like I said, and then we'll get into the finance questionnaire, and I'll let you know if it makes sense. Great. If not, you know, we'll come to that conclusion. We'll update your file accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
Already have insurance.
Oh, that's perfect. Let me go ahead and update my file. That actually came in as incomplete. So you already have insurance. Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, one thing that I will say is typically you should meet with an insurance agent at least once a year, just to make sure you know what you're covered with, how your insurance works, make sure you have all the necessary documents in order to make a claim. When's the last time you talked to your agent?
2 years ago.
You can help when you got it? Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty common. Here's what I'll do. You know, I underwrite for most of the major carriers in your state. Do you remember which carrier it was?
Mutual Omaha.
Oh, perfect. I'm actually an underwriter for them. Why don't we do this? So I'll go ahead and do your policy owner review for this year. Like I said, let you know what you're covered with, how your insurance works, update beneficiaries if possible, and we can reorder policies if necessary. Does that make sense?
And then I don't have any beneficiaries. Why do I need this? That's a tough one.
Yeah, Paul. Well, let me ask you this, just so I'm on the same page. When you filled this out, what did you have in mind?
Perfect. Yep.
Who were you thinking of when you filled this out? Right? Like, I didn't fill this. You filled this out, Paul.
Yeah, you filled it out. So you tell me why we're here.
I got the answers, Paul.
All right, man. Well, we're getting to that time, man. So I got just two more solid questions for you. One is for those that are going to be watching this, or maybe some of us that are here on the team and maybe they're in real estate, right? What's the advantage? Why would you make a switch from real estate to this? Keeping in mind, there's new laws in place on how real estate agents get paid too, which kind of sucks. I feel sorry for those guys because they're out there working hard.
Yeah. For all my fellow real estate agents, like it's just like any other industry or anything that you do, like the cream or not the cream, right? But like the best will always be the best in any condition, in any scenario. The quickest to pivot and stay in the game and learn the new stuff going on is the one that's going to like be there the longest and provide the most value, right? So for all the realtors, if any realtor, real estate agent is watching this, I know what it's like going to having a door knock, having to pick up a lead that you know damn well they're not qualified to go show the house. Like, you know, stick it through if that's what you're going to do. Or if you're looking for something to add to your income in between time, in the meantime, in between deals, like life insurance is a perfect pair. It's like wine and steak, right? You literally can have money coming in between your deals if that's what you want to do. You just got to work it right. But the major advantage is, bro, I'm in my boxers. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa, hey. TMI, my guy.
I work from home, bro. I work from home. I don't need to go anywhere, bro.
Just don't stand up too quick.
I work from home, dude. Like, I mean, what? I could be in Hawaii. I could be be anywhere and work. Like,
you don't have to be in your area on the weekends to sell a house. Yeah.
And I shut down.
Feed your family. Yeah.
When I'm done working, I'm done working. Like, that's it. There's no contract that people pay me up about and all that other stuff that comes with that, which it's good. It's good. It's good. If you like that, if you're hungry and that's what you want to do, by all means. But I'm still in real estate, so I'm not knocking it. You know, I literally just
absolutely, man.
Picked up a listing. You know, so it's getting busy.
All right, man. Last question. You know a lot of people, and a lot of people want to know is Mark's beard real?
Mark's beard?
Yeah.
You know what? I met him in Dallas, bro, and it was pretty windy one day, and the beard was just.
It's stuck.
It's real.
Huh?
It's real.
Okay.
100%. 100%. It didn't. I was trying to see if it would peel. When we were about to talk. No, not at all. It actually was like blowing in the wind.
Wow. Luxurious.
So 100% real. Yeah.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
All right, man. Thanks, Omarh, man. Really appreciate it.